Hi everyone, this is Carrie Mubarak at wooingnature.life. I hope you all are well. This is the full moon view for 12/12/19, December 12th, 19. The full moon is coming in Gemini. It's bringing lots of opportunities, lots of choices that you have to make. It is a representation of the abundance that we have been praying for and asking for over the past probably couple of years or more. This is a time when the things that you've been hungry for, that you've been desiring, that you've been wanting are now being satisfied. So expect some semblance or some representation of what you've been asking for or praying for to come through around the full moon on the 12th. That time can be like a couple of days before, a couple of days after. It can also extend into the month as well. But just know that the full moon is kind of bringing that energy of abundance, of a lot of things. It could be job opportunities for some of you all. For some of you, it may be about choices in mates. You may have been looking for a new partnership. There may be not just one person coming towards you, but many people coming towards you, and you're having to make a decision about what is best for you. So the thing to keep in mind with the sun energy, because during the full moon, the sun sits opposite the moon, of course, or sits in opposition to the moon. So we like to look at the moon during the full moon. We also like to look at the sun and see how it's balancing you out. So the balance here is to think ahead, to get ahead of yourself. So as these opportunities or people or situations are revealing themselves, then you want to at the same time think about the future and terms of your choice. So when they come through, you think about not just what you're feeling right now in the moment, but like, how is this going to look 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road? It's asking you to do a little bit further out, a little, your goal setting needs to happen a little bit further out. Look a little bit further down the road to see what opportunities and ways that this opportunity that's coming to you can sustain you. So it's about sustainability. It's about making the best choice for you, not just for this time, but for a future time as well. So because the moon is in Gemini and Gemini is ruled by the planet Mercury, we are looking at Mercury as well. Even though there's no aspecting between the moon and Mercury, we still want to look at what Mercury is doing, because that'll give us a better idea, a little deeper connection into the moon energy and what the moon is bringing in with Gemini. So the mercurial status is about quiet observation, being wise, being prudent, being watchful for what is coming through. And again, you've got an abundance of things coming. Some of them are for you, some of them are not. This isn't one of those things where anything is, it doesn't matter. You really want to make some wise choices. And so with the sun and Mercury kind of giving us that that warning sign, then you'll want to be paying attention to that as well. So when you're thinking about your goals and your objectives, air signs, just think about the plan ahead. Think about the road ahead, not just what's happening right now. All right, so I will be reading from Colette Baron Reid, The Enchanted Map, today for the full moon. I always like to use her cards to give us some direction. And when we're talking about the full moon and setting intentions and setting goals, then I also like to get some direction. So I have pulled 3 cards for her, one for air sign Gemini, one for air sign Libra, and then the third for air sign Aquarius. But I do want to just kind of get in general from these 3 things, from these 3 areas, what air signs should be paying attention to and what you should be focusing on as the full moon is coming in. So I've got a few things here in the pre-shuffle. We've got the following the leader. So we're looking at leadership models, and we're also looking at how people are going to follow that. If you are in a following position, you got to look at your leadership and how you're being led, whether it's good, bad, or ugly, doesn't matter. You're just paying attention. Again, we're talking about being observant, paying attention. That Mercury energy is asking us to do have a watchful eye. as far as this is concerned. So there's some leadership things here. What leadership and good leadership should look like, air signs. Do you have good leadership around you? Yes or no? If the leadership is not that great, then you've got to learn how to maneuver around that if you are in the position where you have to follow the leadership. Okay. If you are in a position of leadership, then you got to think about, be observant of yourself, be observant of your activity, be observant of how you're leading, get some good leadership models behind you. If you need to take a course in leadership, good. But there's also some other strategies and some other models that you can tap into to be a better leader. So it could be workshops or classes or anything like that. But we're looking at leadership right now. We're also looking at ghost lands. Ghost lands is the past to me. To me, it's about looking deeply into where you've been and where you've gone. This could even connect you to your ancestry as well. So there's some call to go into the past a bit, but not in the negative past. It's really just about really understanding your time on earth, and then also understanding how that ties into a greater spiritual picture. And the greater spiritual picture again will take you into your ancestry or into your spirit guides or your spirit, those deities or orishas or loas or whoever it is that governs you, angels, spirits, spirit guides, etc., just to kind of tap into that space with them so that messages can become clear, because sometimes we need to like whoosh away the past so that we can understand or have a greater understanding of the past, so that as future things are coming toward us, and again this moon is bringing in things that we have to think about our future around. And so that's what that admonition or what that thought process is about. And then we have commitment. Commitment is what you have committed to. And again, we're talking about intentions here with the full moon. What do you intend to do? What did you say you were going to do? How is that going? You know, where are you in that phase? Is it time for an assessment, or is it time to add something else to it? Or is it time to pull away some of the things from what it is that you originally committed to? Commitment has this feeling of permanence to it. You know, when we say we are committed to something, then there's an air of permanence around that. And sometimes that permanence scares us, or we feel uncomfortable about it, because it's like, well, I don't want to commit to something that I can't finish, or I don't want to start something I can't finish, or I don't want to put it out there that I'm going to do this certain thing and then not do it and then be seen as a failure. That's really not the way you want to think about it, air signs. What I'm going to say for you all is to think about what moves you and what you're passionate about and what you already commit to. Like, what is it that you already are committing to? And the way you know what you're committed to is by looking at what you spend the majority of your time focusing on. You can also look at what will stop everything for you. Like if you are doing something else, let's say you're involved in a hobby or you're involved in some activity or something, and something happens that will just say, okay, I can't do that anymore. That will kind of let you know where your commitment is. And I used to think about that because, you know, having your own companies and being involved in business, you're very busy. And I, being a mother, whenever things would happen where my children, something wasn't going right with the children, or somebody wasn't getting their homework finished or something like that, that would stop everything for me and say, well, I can't participate in this. I can't do this, because my priority really is making sure that my children are okay and that they're doing what they're supposed to do in school or what have you. So that will kind of tell you a little bit about where your commitments truly are. And from time to time, you have to reassess that, because, okay, your children grow up now. They're on their own. They're no longer so much of your responsibility as a parent. So now your commitments can change. The way that you or how or the level of commitment can change, and you can adjust that the way that you see fit. You don't have to adhere to a rigid standard as far as that's concerned. And that's what these full moon and new moon periods are about. It's like assessing your commitment. Where are you in the commitment? Have you completed your commitment? Have you done what you came to do? Because sometimes we're still going on something that we've already finished. That happens too. All right, so again, for air signs, we're looking at leadership, looking at leadership as that, that Gemini moon energy comes in. What is it that you're going to attach yourself to and follow or not follow? As things are coming in. Again, that's using your discernment, that's thinking ahead, that's having a plan of action, that's coming up with some solutions, some strategies around how you're going to adjust in that situation. And then, of course, we're working with our ancestors and our spirit guides during the full moon and looking at commitments. And for those of you who are spiritually inclined this way to connect to your ancestors or to your spirit guides, then definitely do that. Make that a part of your full moon ritual. Just asking them for their guidance or asking them for their insight. In terms of making choices, ask for their insight in helping you make the choices if you need to. That's a really good way to connect, and then look at what you're willing to commit to now and in the future. All right, so I'm going to do a little bit deeper connection here. I want to look at each one of the signs first. Gemini, then Libra, and then Aquarius. I'm using the Sun and Moon Tarot for this, and I'll be pulling 3 cards for each sign. So I'm going to start with Gemini. All right, Gemini, let's see what we got here. We have the 4 of Pentacles in reverse. We have the Queen of Pentacles also in reverse. And one last card for Gemini, please. And we have the High Priestess in reverse. All right, so what this is telling me, Gemini, is that one, we're talking about 4 of Pentacles is usually about control. That's a little blurry or not quite a good, I'm sorry, this is not that clear, but anyway, I will just continue on. 4 of Pentacles. 4 of Pentacles is about control, wisest use of power. I'm seeing this in the follow the leader position, because if we're talking about control and we're talking about power, we're definitely talking about leadership here. So I'm seeing that this is probably the card for you, Gemini, since we've got these other messages coming through. We also have the Queen of Pentacles, but it's coming in reverse, which tells me that whatever this is, there's another approach. Pentacles is related to manifestation, things that are happening right here on earth, things that could be of a financial nature, it could be work, it could also be your health as well. But it looks like there's a couple of things that need to be paid attention to. Your spirit. The High Priestess is in reverse here. So being able to connect to your spirit self, your spirit man is what we used to call it, your spirit man, connecting to your spirit man or your spirit woman. And I'm definitely seeing that happening during the moon time. So you might want to set aside some time during the full moon, of course, to get in touch with your spirit. I feel like this is a part of understanding yourself in context of the powers that be around you. I feel like, Gemini, there's some control things that are happening that you're having to look at. It could be that you're struggling with the control mechanisms or how power is being used around you. This could be in a work related environment. I feel like that's what it is, and I feel like what it creates is like you're not being comfortable and not being confident in your own abilities to bring forth what it is that you want to have happen. All right, so that goes back to this, because if you're connected to your spirit and you know your spirit is connected to all things, all knowledge, all information, everything is connected, right? When you connect to the spirit, then you connect to the information that you need in order to carry out whatever task you have to carry out. I'm seeing you in a following position. In terms of this, I'm seeing you in a following position, Gemini, right now. And I don't think it sets well with you. I don't think it feels good for you right now. It feels like you may be out of control, or that things may be out of control. But the thing is to get here. It's really about drawing you to your spirit, drawing you to your spirit self, and then drawing you to the knowledge that you already have, Gemini, because you are connected to the spirit realm, and because your spirit is connected to a much bigger source. So when we're talking about following and we're talking about leading, you got to think about who is doing the leading. And again, with this full moon, it's asking you for that discernment. It's asking, Mercury is asking for you to take some, to watch and wait before you do anything. Just watch and wait before you have to make a move of any kind. And that's a spiritual thing. All right, so I feel like that's your card, Gemini. I feel like this is you right now, for the full moon. It's you not feeling like you're able to. It's like you feeling like you can't manifest what it is that you think you can manifest, because you're feeling like there's you don't have the power to do so. And where that's coming from is from whoever you have been looking at in terms of leadership. It could be the way that people, a person you look up to, or a person in a position of authority over you, how they may be communicating with you, Gemini, or how they may be saying certain things. Like the way they say things gives you the impression that you may not have what it is that you do have. It's almost like, like you don't have the power that you think you have. Yes, you do, because power comes from here. It doesn't come from a person. So really reevaluate and reassess, Gemini, during this full moon, or be watchful, or think about more about this. Who's in position of leadership around you? Who are you following? And what are they saying? And should you be follow your own lead, maybe? All right, so I am moving on. 3 cards for Libra. Libra. I've got the Sun coming in reverse. I have the Princess of Swords also in reverse for Libra. Oops, and here's one more. And I've got the Tower also for Libra. All right, so it looks like some things are kind of shifting out for you, Libra, for the full moon. Looks like some joy is needed in your life. Some kind of joy is needed. Princess of Swords is in reverse. That's about communication. So we are talking about the moon and communication, and where you need to sit in relationship to the communications that are coming in, and in terms of the opportunities that are coming in. For whatever reasons, it seems like maybe these are things that are not positive, or you feel like they're not positive, or you're not connecting in some way to the information that's coming in. Could be that. I'm definitely getting that there is a shakeup coming in around the full moon. It could be that some of this, like some of the choices that are coming in, are causing you to have to make a decision about those choices, to really discern what's good for you and what's not good for you. Maybe I'm seeing that here in this Tower card. Maybe the abundance of things that are coming in, it kind of unnerves you. Like you're really not sure what you should do. I'm seeing that you need to connect to your third eye chakra. Your third eye chakra is where your insight is coming from. So you need to work on your third eye chakra. It's something that you're not seeing, Libra. It's something that you're not seeing. There is joy here because the sun is here, but I feel like either you're not seeing it, you're not seeing the blessings, maybe you're not counting the blessings, maybe there's a gratitude gap or something going on here, but there is like a lack of communication coming through, which brings this Tower. So since we're talking about communication and the moon being about Gemini and Gemini being about communication and the Gemini energy or the Mercury energy being about being more in a position of observation, watching and waiting before you make any moves, I think maybe whatever is coming through around this full moon time, you might want to wait until after everything has settled so that you can see a little more clearly. Yeah, I feel like it's so that you can see a little more clearly. I'm trying to see if this is associated with one of these other cards up here, and I'm not really seeing it. Let's see, is this about the commitment, or is this about leading, following, leading for Libra? I feel like there's not a there's not a clear communication about what it is that you desire, and this could be coming from your ancestor here with Ghostlands. It's not a clear, I'm not getting a clear sense that you are communicating effectively what it is that you want. So if things are akimbo, it's because of being able to communicate what you want and communicating that through spirit. All right, moving right along, we'll go to Aquarius. Kind of odd for Libra. Aquarius, I've got the Hangman in reverse. A lot of reverse cards today. Hangman in reverse. Seven of Cups in reverse, also in reverse for Aquarius. And Ace of Pentacles also in reverse. A lot of reversals this go around. All right, so we have some letting go to do, Aquarius. We also have some, what are you letting go of? The Seven of Cups usually represents a lot of opportunity. So when we talk about these opportunities coming through, that's what we're that Gemini moon and Gemini bringing a lot of things in. There's not letting go. So when the things come in, you don't have room for it. You have to be able to make room in your life for the things that are coming in. Yeah, because something is trying to manifest itself here, and it's manifesting itself in abundance, but you've got to make room for it. Aquarius, you have to make room for it. I feel like you're overly committed. I feel like this is your card, being overly committed. You've overcommitted yourself, and so as these new things come in, you're going to find that you don't have the capacity to take them in. All right. So if there's something new that you want in your life, you got to get rid of some old shit. You got to get rid of some stuff that doesn't work for you anymore. And you need to do it fairly quickly. I'm going back to Libra just because I'm unsettled with the message. Yeah, the message is that there's going to be a shakeup. There's what's coming in for you during this full moon is an opportunity for you to communicate what it is that you truly want and desire, because what it is that you think that you want and desire is not fulfilling to you. And I'm getting that from here. I think this is your card, Libra, because I feel like it's your ancestors that are doing that. It's your ancestors and your spirit guides that are sending you this message. And so they want you to have the joy. They want you to have these things that you want, but they want you to examine it a little closer. Again, we're talking about being wise, contemplating, watching before you make a decision, waiting before you make a move, because you need to wait before you make the move. That's what I'm getting, Libra. And you need to be very clear about what it is that you're asking about. Okay? All right. That was different. It was kind of a different reading, but anyway, that's the way it goes sometimes. This has been the Wooing Nature Full Moon View for the air signs. Please let your friends know, those people who are earth signs, water signs, and fire signs. I will be doing a video for each one of you for the full moon. If you want to get your full moon reading, which is a 7-card reading that looks at where you are right now, what's blocking you, how you can push forward, what things you can do internally to meet your goals, that kind of thing, you can reach out to me at Kerri, Kerri, at wooingnature.life. You can also follow us and follow us and friend us on Facebook, and there is a way for you to book your own appointment there. So if you go to the Facebook page, like and follow, you can go to the book now button, and that will take you directly to the booking site, and you can book your own full moon reading. And I will be doing those now until for the next couple of days. So as always, I hope you have a great full moon, and I hope you're having a wonderful life. Thank you. Bye.